Today, today our topic is subsidy, another form of financial intervention of the government in the economic activities. Yesterday we analyzed indirect taxes when government was using a tool of indirect taxes in order to intervene in the economic activities. So where government is using the indirect taxes, in our case of AS economics, we say whenever the goods like the demerit goods, they are being produced by the producers, but they are harmful to the consumers, as consumers are not realizing the harmful effects of these demerit goods. In order to ration the consumption of demerit goods, government is using indirect taxes. Our government is using indirect taxes to discourage imports of the country or to restrict the exports whenever these necessities are having shortage in our domestic market. Or government is imposing indirect taxes on the necessities in order to increase the revenues for the tax revenue of the government, so because their demand is inelastic. So today we are going to study subsidy. Subsidy basically it is opposite to the tax. What it is? It is opposite to the tax. Here government pays to the producers in order to reduce their per unit cost of production. Okay. When a good is a merit good like education and health, the government will subsidize these merit goods producers in order to increase their production in the market. So subsidy is basically, it is opposite to the tax. It is opposite to the tax. Now the government pays to the producers in order to reduce their per unit cost of production. Per unit cost of production. Okay. It can happen that government is reducing the indirect taxes, like previously it was 10 rupees per unit. Now government says you have to pay 5 rupees per unit as a tax. So the 5 rupees is the subsidy provided by the government because government has reduced the tax on that product. So we say this thing, the subsidy is either in the form of money paid by the government to the producers in order to reduce the per unit cost, or government reduces the tax. Now see, we can say per unit tax, per unit cost of production will decrease due to provision of the subsidy by the government. So government is going to provide a subsidy to the producers whenever government wants to encourage the production of certain goods. Okay. Now see, it is either in the form of money paid by the government or it is paid in the form of reduction in tax by the government. Okay. Now there are two types of subsidies. Two types of subsidy. One is called specific subsidy or quantity subsidy. Second is called value added subsidy. Okay. Quantity subsidy means it is paid on each unit produced. It is paid on each unit produced, whereas value subsidy, that is percentage of price. As we were doing yesterday, I will make the diagram of value added tax at the end of this lesson. But right now I am explaining the subsidy, which is the densest topic. So the one diagram was left over yesterday. I will draw it at the end of this lesson. Okay. Now see what is meant by quantity subsidy. It is a per unit subsidy. So when subsidy is provided, it is same like the reduction in the per unit cost of production. So first of all, per unit subsidy, or you can say quantity subsidy or specific subsidy. When it is provided, then what happens? The supply curve will shift rightward. Supply will shift rightward or downward. Now the vertical gap between these two supply curves, this is the amount of subsidy. As we see, the gap between these two supplies is constant. It means it is a per unit subsidy. So the government has provided this, the production of these goods. They have been subsidized by the government in the form of unit subsidy, per unit subsidy, or quantity subsidy. Whereas the value added subsidy, it is what? It is percentage of price. What it is, when a subsidy is provided as a percentage of price, what we say, 10% of price. Like if price is rupees 10, then subsidy will be, it is 10 now, out of 100, now 10 rupees are subsidized, and if price is 1000, then the subsidy amount will be 100. And if price is 2000, then subsidy will be 200. So as the price is increasing, the amount of subsidy is increasing. We say now there will be pivotal rightward shift. This is a value added subsidy where supply curve will have non-parallel shift or pivotal shift. As price was lower, the amount of subsidy was less, and when price was higher, the amount of subsidy was also increasing. So we find over here, in case of quantity subsidy or per unit subsidy or specific subsidy, there is a parallel rightward shift. Whereas in case of value added subsidy, there will be non-parallel rightward shift or pivotal shift will take place due to the value added subsidy. So come towards the analysis of vertical subsidy. First of all, the diagrammatic analysis. How will it work? Now see, this is the analysis, the diagrammatic analysis. Now this is the demand, market demand, this is the market supply, this is equilibrium before providing a subsidy. Now whenever a producer is provided a subsidy, the supply curve will shift rightward by the amount of subsidy. This is a specific subsidy. What it is? Specific. Alright. This is called a specific subsidy. Now a new equilibrium is formed. Price will decrease to P2. Now this is the price paid by the consumer. As subsidy was provided to the producer, but benefit of subsidy will also be enjoyed by the consumers in the form of lower prices. So when it is subsidized, consumers will be buying more and seller will be made the payment by the government along the previous supply curve. This is P3 now. You see, this vertical distance is called the amount of subsidy. This is called amount of subsidy, and out of this, a small part of subsidy is enjoyed by the consumer, where most of the subsidy is enjoyed by the seller in this case. Suppose price was 50 rupees before the subsidy. When government provided a subsidy of rupees 10, per unit subsidy is rupees 10, what happens? Now consumer is making the payment in the form of subsidy, that is 46 rupees. He has to pay 46 rupees now instead of 50. So 4 rupees out of subsidy they are enjoyed by the consumer. 40% of total subsidy rupees 10. Now consumer price is decreased by 4 rupees. Therefore he is enjoying 40% of this subsidy. And now seller will receive price 56 from the government. This is the seller price. So out of 10 rupees, 6 rupees are paid to the producer in the form of subsidy. Now he is enjoying more part of subsidy, and seller is benefited in the form of lower prices. Now he has to pay 46 instead of 50 rupees. See, this is the increase in output level due to subsidy. Now, who will be benefited more due to this subsidy? It depends upon the price elasticity of supply and price elasticity of demand. In this case, we see producer is enjoying more benefit of subsidy. So, because when price elasticity of supply is less than price elasticity of demand, more benefits of subsidy will be enjoyed by the sellers or producers. You can see this small triangle is showing us an increase in consumer welfare, increase in the consumer surplus. And if you want to see what is the increase in producer welfare, look here, this is the upper triangle, which is larger in size than the lower triangle. So this is in gain in producer surplus due to subsidy. So upper triangle is larger in size than the lower triangle. So when supply is inelastic than demand, then most of the subsidy will be enjoyed by the sellers. Okay. So if I draw over here inelastic demand. Now if demand is inelastic and now government is subsidizing by the same 10 rupees per unit. Now consumers will be paying the lower price, although output has increased. Now consumer is paying this price, and from this new equilibrium we are going along the previous supply line, because producer is saying my cost of production is along this line. So he will be asking the government to pay him this price. So you can find if there was 50 rupees price before the subsidy. Now what is happening? Consumer is going to pay 42 rupees and seller is receiving 52 from the government. So what is happening? Most of the subsidy is now enjoyed by the consumer as demand is inelastic. You can see over here, the lower triangle is having larger size than this upper triangle. This is the producer surplus gain. This is consumer surplus gain. So when demand is inelastic, most of the subsidy will be enjoyed by the consumers. And when supply is inelastic, then most of the subsidy will be enjoyed by the producers. That's all about our quantity subsidy analysis. Now I am going to draw the value added subsidy and then value added tax, which was left over yesterday. Both of them will be covered today. The second form of subsidy, we said value added subsidy. That is VAS. It is percentage of price. I said it earlier that there will be non-parallel shift of the supply curve due to this value added subsidy. Now what is happening? You can see this is the demand curve, this is the supply curve. Before the subsidy, this was equilibrium point P1. Now subsidy is given, supply will have pivotal rightward shift, a new equilibrium is formed. This is new E2 equilibrium where Q2 is the output produced. Keep it in mind, in case of subsidy, consumer is paying lower price and seller is receiving the upper price. Okay, now seller, we will see along the previous supply line which price will be received by the seller. Now the same analysis, here again seller is benefited because supply is inelastic than demand. Only the difference is that now supply is having non-parallel shift. In case of quantity subsidy, there was a parallel shift rightward, and now in case of pivotal shift or value added subsidy, this is the total amount of subsidy paid by the government. Keep it in mind, how much is the consumer gain in this case? Okay, you can find over here, this is the increase in consumer surplus. All this rectangle is here, but this is the triangle which is showing us the net welfare gain of the consumer due to subsidy, and this upper triangle will show us the increase in producer surplus. So here again we find that due to value added subsidy, if supply is inelastic, then most of the subsidy will be enjoyed by the producers because now supply is inelastic than demand. Okay, so yesterday I was talking about value added tax, which is percentage of price. I said 20% of price. How much will be the tax revenue? If we say 20% of 100, how much is the tax revenue? Rupees 20. And then 20% of 1000 will be 200 will be the tax. And 20% of 2000 will be 400. So you can see as price is increasing, the amount of tax revenue is increasing, but the rate of tax remains same. So it will cause a non-parallel or pivotal shift towards left. The gap between these two supply curves, that is about the amount of the tax paid at each price. Now this is the demand curve. Before the tax, now it is a tax. Which tax? Value added tax. Before this tax, consumer and producers, they were in equilibrium at this C1 point. This was the point of equilibrium before the tax. Now after the imposition of value added tax, what is happening? Quantity produced, that has decreased. Now consumers are paying this upper price. This is the price paid by the consumers, and seller will receive along his previous supply. This is P3, which is received by the seller. This is the total amount of subsidy, and this is a deadweight loss. In this case, we find both the triangles are equal in size. Therefore, the tax burden is equally shared by the consumers and producers. So if demand becomes inelastic, then we can have more value-added tax burden on the consumers, and if supply is inelastic, then most of the burden would be shared by the producers. So this is all about our financial intervention. Yesterday this diagram was left over and now it is also finished. And subsidy case, we have also defined the subsidy, value-added subsidy, quantity subsidy, and they are provided to the producers of merit goods and sometimes to the producers of exports, those who are exporting their goods to the other parts of the world. Then they in order to reduce their per unit cost of production, government is subsidizing them. And sometimes there is going to be import of machinery or raw material which will be used in the re-export of the goods and services. So in that case, government can subsidize the imports as well, which are essential to produce the re-exported items. Okay, that's all about our chapter number 3. By tomorrow we will be trying to start our new chapter number 4, which is the second last one, and we will try our level best to do maximum of that, and then our syllabus will be approaching towards an end. Thank you very much for today.